Hello, this is a quick announcement for the foundation students at Brookhouse College. That's if those of you who are studying the University Foundation Programme. By now, you'll have received an email from me with a link to allow you to book your exams, book both the current exams for the units that you should have been studying or should be studying this term, and also to allow you to book resit exams from previous terms. It's very important that you do that, and you do it only once, but you have to do that. This is so that I can check that you've been entered for the right exams, and it's also to make sure that we're entering you for the resits, the retake exams that you need to do, okay? It's really to help you. What will happen next is on about June the 5th, Mrs. Random will send you an email with your personalised timetable, as has happened in previous terms. The only difference will be this will be by email, which is why the form requires that email address. It's not just for your certificate; it's also for your statement of entry, so that you know when your exams are and where they are. Now, in terms of where they are, depends on your situation. If you are in Brookhouse College, then you will take the exams in socially distanced conditions in the PK hall. Okay, so that will be why you'll have a statement of entry or a timetable, and you'll be expected to be there. When you go there, obviously you'll need to wait before we let you in. You'll need to queue up using social distancing. Even if the people in front of you and behind you are from the same house, please exercise that social distancing. It's important to be seen to be 2 meters apart. If you want to bring your mask with you, we'll allow that as long as it is just your mask, but otherwise normal exam conditions will apply. Rest assured that when you're in that exam room, you will be social distanced. You'll be more than 2 meters apart from away from the people near you, so that you are properly socially distanced. It will be a safe environment. When you're in there, it will be usual exam conditions. So no talking, you're not allowed to have a colourful pencil case. You've got to have your pens and pencils loose on the desk. If you bring in a bottle of water in, that's absolutely fine, but take the label off before you go in so that it's a clear bottle, so it doesn't show any labels or anything like that. That sort of thing. You know the rules. You've done it before. You've usually been absolutely excellent, so I'm going to expect that excellence again this term. The fact that we have unusual conditions at the school shouldn't make a difference. Now, those of you who are going to be working from home, your situation's a tiny bit more complicated because you can't be expected to fly back to Brookhouse College just to take the exams. So you will need to take your exams at home. Your parents have already been sent an email on how to set up an exam space for you. Now, in a few cases, agents are going to be able to help with that. Some agents have reported back to me already that they may be able to set up their offices as exam rooms and allow you to take your exam in their office so that you've got something more akin to an exam room, so it feels a bit more like a proper exam. Those of you who haven't, you will need to set yourselves up. So you need to be a little bit self-sufficient. You will need to be honest. Your parents will have signed a declaration saying that you'll do this honestly. You need to set up your exam space as per the instructions I've sent to your parents. You also need to make sure that you're ready for the exam. I'm going to class it as your responsibility. You are going to need to make sure you've got the right stationery. So you know, for example, if you are doing a physics exam, you know you're going to need a calculator. You're going to need at least one pen. I would take a pen and a spare. You're going to need a pencil. You're going to need a 30-centimeter ruler, preferably a clear one. You may well need a protractor, so it's worth having one of those as well. You'll definitely need your calculator, as I said before. So you know what you're going to need. So please make sure you've got those things handy. Okay? Secondly, what will happen for you is you'll be able to download those papers on the day of the exam. You download them because they will appear on Show My Homework, like a normal task would. You download them, you print them out, you work on them, and then once you're done, you'll need to send them back. The simplest way to do that is to use a document scanner on your mobile phone. You can download them from the App Store, Play Store. You can download free versions of it. They don't take up that much memory, and they're very useful anyway. Because you'll need to scan every page of your exam paper as a PDF. You need to save it on your phone and then submit it in the same way that you submit a homework on Show My Homework. So it's an attachment to your submission. That's all you need to do. Now, there are some complications. I fully understand that graph paper is difficult to come by. I have sent your parents in the document that I sent them a graph paper sheet for them to print out, so they could print out some graph paper sheets that way. The other way to do it is just to go to a stationer and ask if they've got graph paper. I'm not going to be too worried about the type of graph paper you use. I would like to use graph paper that's similar to the ones you've used in school. You know exactly the type I'm talking about. But if you can't find that, anything close to that will do. I'm fully sympathetic to your situation. If you don't want to print the graph paper, you can go to a stationer's. If you're in the UK, you can buy a ream of graph paper or a pad of graph paper from Amazon, and it arrives the next day. So it should be possible. You are going to need to do some printing. If you can, make sure you've got access to a printer. You've got a few weeks to get that organised, so there is time for you to organise that. If, however, you're in a situation where you just can't access a printer, that's fine. You will have to work from a screen. So you'll have to have your laptop or your tablet with the exam paper on it. And then you just use some lined paper, which you write your name on the top, but just use some lined paper to write your answers. Make sure the answers are clearly written next to the right question number. Because if you answer question 2B and mark it as 1A, it probably won't get the marks. So you need to make sure that you have something to write with, something to write on, preferably the exam paper, if not lined paper. You need to be able to make sure that you have downloaded and you are using a document scanner that can scan whatever you work on as a PDF. And you need to make sure that you know how to get work from Show My Homework and submit work back to Show My Homework. In the vast majority of cases, it's the same as doing what you're already doing, so that's not a problem. If you have any problems, if you have any questions, you have any concerns, please don't hesitate to email me. I might take a little while to get back to you, as I sometimes have to deal with upwards of 300 emails a day at the moment, and I also have to teach, and I also have to kind of run the academic side of things and plan for next year. So it might take me a little while to get back to you, but I will get back to you. Okay? Thank you very much.